Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Unconditional Life. I'm Johnny.
I'm John.
Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you guys. John, I want to kind of back it up a little bit today. We love doing this podcast. We love the conversations that we have because they force our brains to stretch. They force us to kind of look a little bit deeper into things, and I'm grateful to have somebody like you in my life, John, where I can actually throw those ideas off of, and you'll give them back. And we don't always necessarily agree 100% of the time on the way we see things, but the fact that we're talking about it is the important thing. It's not about necessarily what you believe. It's about the fact that we're trying to do something that's different, because we see a lot of pain and suffering in our world. It's everywhere. And because of that this is the biggest reason why we started doing this podcast. There's so much pain and suffering around us, and we see people chasing their own tails, or running into certain issues that we've run into. We've had a lot, between the two of us, we've had a lot of experiences in our life that are painful, that were opportunities for extreme growth, and that didn't turn out the way we wanted. But I also understand our perception has changed a lot to where we understand that's just the nature of life. So our conversations have led to just deep understandings about the nature of what existence is all about. And it's not a religious thing or anything like that. It's just what is. And that's one of the biggest reasons I wanted to start having these conversations in front of people. Because I believe that even though we don't have it figured all out, the fact that we're talking about it is the right step.
I totally
agree. And to involve
agree.
more people in that, because it's okay to talk about these things.
Yeah, I totally agree. We talked about this a little bit, but if the current status quo was working, I mean, divorce rates wouldn't be at 50%. We wouldn't be beating our kids and cheating on our wives and drinking to excess. Like, something is wrong, and we're just want to start this conversation. I truly believe I live a pretty happy life, and I have a pretty rocking, great marriage, beautiful wife. And I want to see more of us find that in our lives. Find more intimacy, find more depth, find more happiness and peace. And I'm totally convinced that the status quo isn't working. Because it doesn't matter what religion you are, it doesn't matter where you went to church, where you went to college, how much money your parents have. About half of you that pick a partner on purpose based on current statistic trends are going to get divorced. That's a person you picked on purpose. And you probably were handed a template from parents that love you, who tried to pick the person on purpose, and their template was broken. We talked about that before. The whole reason I'm even here is because this question burns in me. Why don't we love more?
Yeah.
Why don't we love more? And I think it's important that we have these episodes on occasion so you guys can learn a little bit more about us.
Yeah.
We don't think we got it all dialed in. We're actually hoping maybe that you got some stuff figured out that we don't, and somebody will...
Some ideas we haven't come up with
I'd like
yet.
to have somebody who's written a book or who has a solution. Come reach out to us.
Come
Teach us. Come be a guest
Let's
speaker.
talk.
We are looking for answers. My question is, why don't we love more? That's the question that's burned in me since I was a child. It's our nature to be kind and loving. Why are we distrustful? Why do we believe the governments and medias and propaganda machines of the world?
Yeah.
Why aren't we more connected to our spouses, to our friends? Why are we so afraid of intimacy? Why are we afraid of authenticity?
Yeah.
And that's the whole reason for me behind this, is just to get us all having this conversation so we can make a change.
Yeah, one of the biggest reasons that I'm here, John, is the fact that I know, because of the nature of human beings, I know that every single human being that draws breath on this planet possesses the capability to be unconditionally loving toward other people. I know that exists. I also know that the reason that we don't is because the things we've accepted, the conditions that are around our life, whatever they may take the form of, we have been conditioned to not express that part of ourselves as much as we would want to. And our bodies, our minds, or our natural ism. I don't know. I'm making up words now. I'm not too bright. But the natural state of us wants to express that part of ourselves, but our minds get in the way and turn it off before we get a chance to act on it most of the time.
Oh, yeah.
Our conditioning takes effect. So the biggest reason I wanted to do the podcast that we're doing, and I'm grateful that you've also had your own reasons for doing it, because it allows me to have somebody to do this with. But it's getting people back to that, to realizing they possess this unconditionality within them, and that they can live life with that being their natural state. I'm trying to get to the point where that's a natural state for me. I've worn a lot of hats in my life, and there are times in my life where I haven't been the best person. And I know there are people out there in my life that I have offended and that I have done wrong.
I can relate.
And that I have, even some of them unwittingly, just gotten the wrong idea about somebody or them about me. And I'm trying to make changes now. Life isn't perfect, and I still struggle with certain things in my life. But the fact that I'm trying to be an unconditional person is all I can ask for out of myself right now. And if I can get other people trying to figure out how to be unconditional themselves, because unconditionality looks different to somebody else than it does to me, because we're different people. We see the world differently.
Thank goodness.
But if we can all get to a place, or at least start having the conversation about how do we get to a place where we can live from a point of unconditional love or unconditionality, then what I've wanted to do will have been accomplished 10 times over. I also am doing this because it's who I am. I've been fighting it a long time, and I always want to talk and always feel like I have something to say, but a lot of times I get in my own way and say, no, don't do that. Don't. People are going to find you preachy. People are going to, do this. I've stopped caring about what other people think, and I think it's time to start having a conversation. So thanks for being the other side of my conversation for this, John.
That. I personally see, I'm sorry, I got a little frog in my throat somehow.
Ribbit.
I've noticed, and again, I'm not going to put the whole onus on men, but you talk about unconditionality. Look at the conditions that most of us men have accepted in life that gets in our way. Number one condition is that we don't express our feelings. And how debilitating is that to be?
We take it a step before that. We judge ourselves when we even have the feeling.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's because we're told from very young, men don't cry. Suck it up, buttercup. Hold that inside. You got this. Figure it out. We'd learn to isolate. And I truly believe that the salve is, I learned that everything I want is on the other side of a conversation with a human being.
Yeah.
And learning how to be that raw, vulnerable, and authentic. How many of you are stuck in a marriage, or in a marriage, maybe not stuck, but you're in a marriage that doesn't work quite the way you thought it might have when you got married? Just be with that for now. Don't raise your hands, but just be with it for you. How many of you are bold enough and brave enough to actually go to your spouse and ask for changes in your marriage? Or even know that can be done? Or even how to go about that? Like, unconditionally living is choosing a life on purpose that you want to live and going for it without anybody else's rules or regulations or conditions. Sometimes that comes to, like, I was just talking to my kids today about it. My kid's boyfriend, his dad's girlfriend won't say anything until it's too late. Just period. Won't talk. And how often is that? Like, we all watch that movie and you're going, freaking say it. Just tell her the truth. And it would all go away. But it's not safe to be that authentic and raw and vulnerable, especially men. How many of you would ever go to your wife and say, hey, I'm really jacked up, broken right now, I don't know what to do, and I need your help? We don't admit that. No. We just stumble around in the dark while they know we're lost and we can't figure it out, while they giggle at us because we're being stupid, and we don't ask for help. Like, I've seen it in my own life. I've got past that. I ask for help quick now. And we just living a life that you want on purpose is all this is about. honestly, open-heartedly, so that you love the skin you're in, so that you love your life, you love your relationships, and you do it on your terms without this automatic template of whatever is supposed to be a perfect life created by somebody not you. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's important to me. I've always been, you might get this, a little non-conventional thinker. I remember when I was 12 or 13 telling my dad, I think I'm psychologically unemployable. That doesn't mean I don't want to work. I just didn't want to trade my life for money for hours to somebody that I didn't like or respect. And I struggled a long time learning how to make my way and run a business. But I knew this young. The things we're doing as a society are not working. And that's it. How do we get back to working societies? I was at a business meeting today, and this guy said something brilliant. He said in his insurance practice, they practice something called 1-3-1. You bring a problem, 3 solutions, and whichever solution you picked, instead of just bitching about it all the time. And that's
what we like to do, though. We love playing the victim. It gives us a reason for a lot of the stuff, you know? We love being the victim.
And I would say being unconditional is owning your own life.
Yeah.
That's my wish for you, for me, for you, for all of society, for all of humanity, is that we own our own experience.
Yes.
That we're accountable for it, our relationships, our role in them. See, I know something about myself. I'm a passionate, loving, gentle man. And I'm here on this planet to be so authentic and so raw and so real that I unconditionally and unconsciously give permission to all of you to do the same thing. That's me. And I hope that all of you can start to figure out who you are and bring that person to the table without worrying if people think you're stupid or who cares what people think? The only person I brush my teeth, the only person I have to answer to is me.
And that's part of the Unconditional Life podcast. One of the reasons we started, it was mainly so that you could take back control of your life.
Yes.
Being unconditionally yourselves means you are the authority figure in your life. You create the template you're trying to use for your life.
Yes.
Don't grab somebody's already made one. So that's basically, being unconditional is figuring out a way to make your template and live into that.
Absolutely.
And so the only way to do that, though, is to start realizing or become awake to the conditions you have accepted. And that's the reason we talk about the topics we talk about. They seem to be the ones that are most prominent in our lives, or the ones that we see more regularly than we don't. There are so many more topics we can talk about, and that we will. But it's good every once in a while to take a step back and remind yourselves why you're doing this.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to do the episode today that we're doing, is because remember, the big picture of this is about being authentically yourself, creating your own template for your life, but then also remembering you are a person who is full of love, regardless of how you're manifesting your life right now. Even if you're involved with the most deviant things out there, it's you inside your heart have it in you to be unconditional toward other people, which, like you said, unconsciously allows them to do the same.
Yes.
Gives you the permission that you need, that you're looking for out there, to find your own unconditional way. And when somebody does something truly caring and loving toward you, you feel great. But not only that, naturally inside yourself, you want to show that to somebody else. You've been given a gift that you want to show off to the world. That's
It's
the
contagious.
natural thing. And that's basically what we're trying to get back to, is just realizing these things. Because regardless of how many conditions we do have in our life or that we've accepted, we are still in charge. Even if it doesn't seem like it or look like it, you are still in charge of your love.
Well,
And you have a lot of it.
What did your dad, Rockstar Rick, teach
He
me
says,
the other day?
I
He
do
said,
not own my children.
I only own me.
One of the greatest teachers
I
I've ever
only
had in
own
my
me.
life
What
was
a
my
great,
father.
what a great way to be raised, to have the freedom to be a sovereign being from your childhood. I love that.
I haven't always done the best thing with that sovereignty, but I
Who
have
does?
it.
Yeah,
and
but
we
you
all
have
have it. It's not about being that. It's about trial and error for your own template. You're trying to create your own template here. And sometimes you'll create something that doesn't work, so you have to make adjustments to your template. But you're the one making the adjustments.
Well, and like how many of us, and this may be a goofy concept from a very spontaneous person, but how many of us would go to the lumber store and say, I want to build a house, here's $100,000, give me some wood and some sheetrock and some paint. But that's what we do with our lives. Like, how intentional are we? How many of us actually sat down and decided, this is what I want in my life?
This is the house
Or
I
did
want to
we
build.
did we just get handed some? You just got back from a church assignment. Now it's time to get married, and good boys and girls get married and have babies, or was it that not get married? Good boys and girls just go have successful homes and or lives and businesses and make money, or what is it? I would pose that very few of us actually ever had anybody ask us, John, what do you want in your life?
Yeah, most of us haven't created our own version of what that template is.
And so I rarely will tell someone to do something, but if you don't, I mean, here's a good example. Take around your life, take a look at your life, and if there's things in it you don't want, go talk to the person who put them there, you, and get rid of them. One of my buddies, Tony Nelson, one of my buddy's friends, older brother, said, if you want to know what you want out of life, take a look at what you have. And I don't know how to leave you on any other better note than that. I love you guys. We're just a couple of guys who have a lot of love in our hearts, who are trying to be happy and trying to figure it out to be good parents, good men, good husbands, good brothers, good sons, and help us do that.
And do that
Share
while
this podcast
staying true to who we are.
And be honest, forthright, loving, good, contributing humans. And we know that's why you're here, so we love you guys. Thanks for listening to us. And share with us.
Yeah.
We're open books.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
We love you.
Look forward to hearing from you.